Virginia for the Craftsman Truck Series. Last week, Carson Baker wins, and it go at Bristol. Urban was leading on the final lap. Unfortunately, spun off of turn 2 and wrecked, and ended up finishing second. So pretty good at Martinsville. But, as you saw last week, just because you're good at the track does not mean you'll have a good day. So, he might be good at Martinsville, but it's going to be down to Martinsville's decision on. No, I did the two drivers like you did. You can literally just go there and watch it, Packer fan. Like, if you just go there right now, you can watch it. You should see my name pop up. Oh, hi, Don. Well, why don't you just watch it on the live stream then? Do you follow? What's up, NASCAR Rally? Green flag, that's okay. You can just be like what's called the color commentator. Green flag, we're underway from Martinsville. 50 lap stage 1 here. So just like last week, Urban's going to lead lap 1. Are you just tuning into the live stream? Alright. So welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Adam Salamander. With me is Kyle Voiles, driver of the number 23 Team Urban Chevy Camaro in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. How are you doing this fine Thursday evening? So, alright, you got a race here tomorrow night in the Xfinity Series. What do you think it's going to take to win at the paperclip? I agree, man. So like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 50 laps here in stage 1. 200 total laps, 200 total miles. Oh, the 11 caught the wall a couple of times there. Did you see that? And the 22 goes to the lead. Gets a little bump there. And a little bit of contact with Austin Wayne Self there. To the inside, splashy inside. And the 11 got completely sideways there and somehow saved it. How did he do that, Kyle? I agree. It is cold here in Michigan too, Don. And I would imagine it's probably cold at the racetrack because Virginia is not that far from the north. I mean, it's in the southern U.S., but... Holy crap, Splashy, that was crazy. The 11 out front leading laps. Yeah, we got the bumper. You're going to see that a lot tonight. It is a short track. Yes, I did. That's very unfortunate. Oh, caution is out. And Mike Harmon got turned there. So we're going to see the first restart of the race. All right, Kyle. So obviously you got racing experience. Tell us, what do you think it takes to get a good jump on the restart at a track like this? I agree. And, you know, you got to be careful not to do what the 11 did there, right? And overdrive the corner. You know, kind of like what just happened there a little bit. You got to be careful not to do that. Yeah. And it's a disadvantage. It's a double disadvantage because you're definitely probably going to give up a position if you go up the track because somebody's going to go to your low side and take that position away.
This is so laggy.
And we got another caution, the second caution of the night. And I don't know what it's like back there.
I'm in third.
I'm sure at some point I'll be back there. As the green flag is back out. And 34 remain here in stage 1. And what do you think of this 11 truck so far, Kyle? Oh, got a little loose there. And we talk about that heartbreaker at Bristol. I mean, you know, it's not Bristol, but I think it would mean a lot, you know, to this 11 crew. Okay, I've had 2 crappy weeks in a row.
It just kicked me out the race.
Well, I've done it for other people before, so you'll just get whatever. Like, if I don't win, then you'll get whatever place behind me, you know, that I finish in. And if I win, then I'll just give you second. Back to green. And with 30 to go in stage 1, we're going to take you side by side. You won't miss a thing. And it appears that the 22 is on pit road at Carson Baker. What do you think might be wrong with that truck there, Kyle? Yeah, I definitely agree. I hear that you're going to be in the Wild Wild West next week, but you're going to be behind the wheel of one of these trucks at Texas. You were supposed to race at Bristol and last week, and technically tonight, but you decided to do Texas instead. I completely forgot we were on side by side. So we're just not going to do that since we were talking. 25 to go in stage 1. As we welcome you back before we should have. We hope you enjoyed that 3-second long commercial break. Me and Kyle went down and got... Exactly. We went down and got one of those Martinsville hot dogs. And I tell you what, they are as good as they say they are. So I will give them credit for that. Hey, Splashy, since you got kicked out of the race, do you want to join us as a third commentator?
I have to get off in a minute.
As you see, the 11 kind of overdrive the corner there, but look at this. He's got a nice jump off of these guys on the restart. I think, obviously, accurate to say, Kyle. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what, unless if you get a good jump, if we get a late caution and a late race restart and go to, like, overtime, I don't know if I would want to be the leader. I'd probably want to be, like, second or third, because you know if you're the leader, if you don't get a good enough jump and somebody gets a better jump than you, you're probably being used. Yeah. Like Denny Hamlin once said, short track racing, right? 20 to go, stage 1, the 11 out front. Now, these trucks can make it to the end of stage 1 on fuel and tires. They do not need to stop. So they can stay out there until the end of the stage. But at the end of the stage, you know, the Team Urbane trucks, you know, you race for him in the Xfinity Series. His strategy is always pit at the end of the stages. And he wants you all to pit. And, honestly, I gotta say, with him having you all pit with him, it's, you know, it's increased your guys' chances at winning. I mean, look, you got the Xfinity race in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. It somehow got Urbane the Xfinity Series win at Richmond. He beat Hunter McKinnon by 500 thousandths of a second to the line. You know, it's yeah. And like you know, you've seen your boss stay out before, like towards the end before or towards the end of a stage or maybe the race because, well, even if you've won, you know, and locked yourself into the postseason, you still got to get points for the regular season title. So you got to stay out sometimes, you know, and go against your strategy, but not having any strategy can really bite you. And I'm not sure exactly, Don. I'd have to look it up. You know, like, there's a couple of times, you know, following that strategy, you almost won the Xfinity races at Las Vegas and Phoenix. But, you know, your boss was able to get the best of you there as there's some contact. The 22, whoa! And that's going to bring out the caution. And I think that 11's going to pit road to get that damage taken care of. The 11 there just got shoved up the track there, it looks like. Yeah. You know, exactly. As there's 10 laps to go here in stage 1. And, yeah, that's a true statement. I agree with you, Kyle. You know, you got to do what you got to do. Like, you know, your boss, he almost won the truck race at Bristol, right? Was the leader on the final lap. Unfortunately, spun out and wrecked instead. And instead of having his 3rd win of the season, he now only has 2. You know, pending what happens tonight, because he's looking pretty good here. But obviously, nothing is guaranteed. He even said after that race, you know, you can't always get what you want in life. Like, I wanted to win this race. I really tried to, but, you know, I just wrecked on the... I just wrecked. You know, you can't always get what you want. I would say that's a true statement, you know. As the 11 looks to reel in Wayne Self here. And I imagine there's going to be a little bump to Wayne Self. Just a little retaliation for what he did there. Yeah, see, he got bumped and spun. But what were you saying? Yeah. Yeah. And it's happened before to your boss. You know, it's happened before to you. I think one season, you were doing really good in the cup race, and then you ended up on pit road. I think it was at New Hampshire. Yes, you were driving the 10. I remember it. You were driving the 10 for the leader of this race, Urbane, your boss. And Urbane was in 2nd, and you were in 1st, and you accidentally ended up on pit road, and your boss ended up winning that race. Your car decided... Yes, you did. Your car decided you needed gas, apparently. And look at this. The 11, had to pit a couple cautions ago. He ended up spun around there and in 16th, a.k.a. dead last. And look at this. Raced his way back to the lead. And how about this? He's going to win a stage this week as well. As he comes off turn 4 for the final time. Stage 1 at the paperclip goes to Urbane. So what do you think about this 11 truck now that you've seen him race for a stage and you've known that he can drive his way back through the pack? Hundreds. Yeah. Yes, you guys do. I will credit you with that. So he's going to pit again here, which he did. So we're getting ready for the stage 2 restart. Now he is going to go back to where dead last in 16th where he was after that one caution, but back to green we go. Stage 2 underway from the paperclip. So you get about 115 laps of fuel. There's 47 here in stage 2, so you can go to the end of stage 2 as well on fuel. Dude, any race that you don't end up doing, you should do a commentator with me. Kind of feels great to have somebody else in the booth with me. Even though technically I'm actually racing too, but... Also, back to what you said before about how many races have you guys come from the back. Talk about your boss, man. How many times has he come from the back? Like, he did it at Vegas. He did it at Atlanta. He did it at Richmond. He did it at Bristol. He did it here. When is this? Is this going to continue, do you think? And if everything continues good, he's going to do it twice here at the paperclip. Whoa, I think the 11 caught the 00. He did. Spins her around. Caution's going to come out. So, alright, so it's Austin Wayne Self on the inside. Urbane on the outside. We're getting ready for the restart. This is the 5th caution here at the paperclip. And we're back to green. With 41 to go here in stage 2. And look at that. He's purposely overdrove the corner to try to get that place back. And I think he's going to have to get to the inside of that 22. He's going to move him up the track and out the way to do it. How about that move? And keep in mind, this is only for a stage win. We're not even in the final stage and down to the wire yet. And the 11 already showing. Yeah, the points do matter. You're right. Those 10 points is what's going to determine Michigan International Speedway. As that is the regular season finale for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. But we still got plenty of racing to do before that happens. As we got action from Texas Motor Speedway next week. So do you think the 11 has the great strategy here? Do you think he pulls it off? It's a little early yet, but do you think he pulls it off? Fun fact. In each of his wins that he has this season, which is 2, Las Vegas and Atlanta, if he won stage 2, he went on to win the race. But in both of those races, he did not win stage 1. So, is it going to play out differently today? And we're going to ignore it being daylight outside at the track. I think that's only available for Cup. So you see him, you know how they call the Darlington stripe at Darlington? Well, you see the 11 getting a Martinsville stripe here a couple of times in this race, and I'm sure that's probably not going to end before the final checkered flag flies in this thing. I gotta say, this is a good setup the 11 crew's got this week, and he's catching up to lap traffic. I saw lap trucks ahead. And it's going to be good catching that lap traffic, because you know what that means, Kyle? That means the less trucks you have to go through on the lead lap when you pit. If Splashy's going to do the Xfinity... Oh, the 11 spun himself out. If Splashy does the Xfinity Series race, I'll have to send him the paint scheme for my driver's car, and he can be a fill-in driver. And it will still count towards the start. Back to green we go. And 20 laps into stage 2, 20 complete of 47. And this time we're going to take you side by side. The Long John Silver's 200 from Martinsville Speedway is presented by Urban Woodworking. As we welcome you back to Martinsville Speedway, Adam Salamander, Kyle Voiles here in the booth. So, Kyle, obviously your boss is going to have this extra preparation for tomorrow's Xfinity race. You know, you're seeing him perform well in the trucks, and, you know, he has said in the past that, hey, listen, trucks, Xfinity cars, and Cup cars are 3 different cars. But what do you think it's going to take to beat him? Because obviously you can argue, you know, that if you have a little more practice, you might be able to perform well in the next race. I mean, and some of the guys in the Xfinity Series used to race in the Truck Series, right? I mean, you know, you got Chandler Smith, right? I mean, he was a big truck guy. You know, Sheldon Creed won a Truck Series title in 2020. He's in the Xfinity Series. I won't talk about how many times he's been close to victory, but yeah, it's just one of those things. As you see, the 11 did get around some lap trucks. So how's that going to play a factor into how things go with 13 to go here in Stage 2? Yeah, like, I mean, you know, right back where he caught the grass, you know, and spun out there, technically concrete now, you know, where he caught that and spun out. That could happen again. You would hope not, but at least if it does, you know, he was able to retain the lead, you know, thanks to the caution, but I think even without the caution, he would have still been able to retain the lead because he got going. But, you know, you have some lap trucks between you, so if that does happen again, at least you know you got a few more trucks between you and second place, so you can try to retain the lead. But you would hope it doesn't happen again, right? As we got 10 to go here in Stage 2. And you might say, I can't believe we're already this far into the race. Well, that's what happens when you race at half a mile of a track. So the best thing the 11 can do is stay to the inside of these lap trucks, because as Herbst or Kyle Busch is going to cross him over, he's going to purposely drive it deep into turn 3 there to retain that as the caution's out. I ain't going to lie, I'm going to take fuel, and you know what, I'll get my truck fixed here. Why not, you know? And look at that, only fell back to 30. Only lost 2 spots because of that. Easily should be able to get to the inside here, force those 2 up, and retake the lead. I think that's a great call. What do you think, Kyle? Look at that. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. Forced him up, retook the lead. Gus Dean the second. How about you think? What do you think of that move? Technically, he would have been fine too. He could have stayed out, but one could argue that, you know, a late stage caution like that, you probably want the fresh tires, right? So you have a chance on the restart. And the good news here is there's at least only 11 of the 16 trucks on the lead lap. So you wouldn't have to go too far back through the field, you know, because obviously one of the trucks got the free pass there, and that would be Kyle Busch as a result of that caution. But how about this? He's never done this season. He's never swept stages. Coming to 1 to go. Is he going to do it for the first time this season in the Craftsman Truck Series? All right, so final lap, stage 2. You know, I wonder, how do the haulers get into this track? I don't see anywhere where the gate opens. There's no way they get in from... Oh, wait, yeah, they get in from over there. I can see it. They get in through turn 4. As the 11 sweeps the stages. All right, so for the first time this season, Urbane has swept the stages. You know he's going to pit again just because, right? You want to have... You want to have 115 laps of fuel going into the final stage. About 97 it's going to be when we restart. So he falls back to 11th. So now there's 12 trucks on the lead lap. And you can expect, you know, if a late race caution comes out again, right, he's probably going to take advantage of a opportunity for fresh tires. Oop, got a little too deep in the corner there, spun out Matt Crafton. That's not what you want to do on the restart, you know. You don't want to make anybody mad, right? Especially because tempers flare at these kind of tracks. You know, you don't want to be the guy that someone's beefing with. You know, you don't want to get your brats burned at the picnic. You know, see, yeah, you got to be careful there. Whoa, got a little deep coming off of turn 4, and getting into the 00 there. So Gus Dean's leading some laps, but for how much longer? This 11 is charging. And we talked about you getting used, you know, if it's a late race overtime, but the 11 has showed, look, I'm going to use my rub in his racing, and I'm going to move you out of my way as he passes for the lead right there. He doesn't move him. He just passes. Oh. Yeah, and it's not just exclusive to these short tracks, right? You think about Talladega, Daytona, now Atlanta. You're going to get used. You're going to, you know, drivers are going to abandon you essentially to try to go for that win, right? I mean, with the start-finish line being down towards turn 1 at Talladega, it allows opportunity for that, you know? You pretty much got to start doing that coming off of turn 4 at Daytona if you want to have any shot of it, and same at Atlanta. All right, so with 90 to go, we're going to take you side by side. You won't miss a thing. The 11 continues to lead here at the paperclip. Welcome back to the Long John Silver's 200. Coming up on 80 to go in the race. Adam Salamander, Kyle Voyles here in the FoxTube TV booth. All right, so I think it's safe to say that the 11 has a shot to win this race, right? I mean, look at him being out front there. It's kind of, I don't want to jinx it, but it's kind of turning into like Bristol. He led the most laps. Unfortunately, we know what happened at the end of that race. He wasn't too happy, which I don't blame him. But led the most laps there. You got to think about it. That's still a win. But it's not the win you wanted. As he did lap a couple of trucks, put them 2 laps down there. That did happen during the side-by-side. You saw it. And we listened to the 88 during a commercial break. And he basically said he wasn't mad at the 11. So is that kind of good to know if you're near the 88, Kyle? Or do you think that he's just... Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things. It's like, like, he's probably like, well, I'm a lap down anyway, so it doesn't really matter, Maybe that's why he wasn't, like, as mad. How about Nick Sanchez running 11th there? So we mentioned that Urbane, McKinnon, and Baker, all locked in, and Crafton, forgot to mention him, are all locked in to the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs. They do not have to win another race. They are safe, but more wins means more points, and more points increases your chances at that regular season title. As you see the 11 going in a little more careful there to pass the 88. Kyle, do you think you guys brought a fast car for this weekend? I mean, Team Urbane appears to always be up front, so I would imagine the answer is yes, right? We need to start having team meetings. I completely forgot that they do those in real life. Because, like, we need to... Yeah. Because we probably should be talking about how the week went for the team and stuff, Splashy really doesn't have anybody to talk to in a meeting. As you see the 11 got loose there. If I knew someone who could do it, I would get somebody to take the live streams and clip them into highlight videos. I don't know how to do it. Oh, little contact there, more contact. With the 21 of, or technically 25 of Ty Dillon. And yeah, he goes deep into the corner again to clear the 21, or 25. I keep wanting to say 21 because that's what it says. That's why they need to add the truck series to the new iRacing game. I hope they do. They should have did an update for it on here when they did the next gen update. Same with Xfinity. Alright, so look at this, Kyle. The more trucks he laps here means the less he has to go through when he pits. I mean, obviously, right? But that's... that could be ultimately what decides the outcome of this race. as he got loose again, got up on that corner. Remember, we mentioned you don't want to do that. That time a little bit, or that time better around the corner to the inside of Friesen. Well, this race is flying by fast, and we won't be keeping you up all night. Once we get to 50 to go, it's going to fly by even faster. And at 50 to go, we will take our last side-by-side of the race, because when we reach our Craftsman 20 to go, we'll do a crank it up. Seems like we just took the green flag and already almost to 60 to go. And to think, when this race is complete, we would still have 200 to go if this was Saturday night's Cup race. And if it was like it was in the past, when it was a 500-lap spring race, we'd still have 300 to go. Now, I imagine if there's a caution, the 11 crew would probably still pit for fresh tires, right? Because, I mean, you still want to have fresh tires even though you don't necessarily need it. Because, look at this. He appears to be fast, but fresher tires, you obviously won't slide like you've seen the 11 do a couple of times. Fresher tires, you know, obviously make you go faster, and you got more grip going into the corners. But look at this right here. He's about to reel in the 5th place truck of Johnny Sauter. He's driving part-time this season. He's just got to find a little more speed to fully reel it in. He's reeled it in a lot more now. Bumping into it. He should be able to get him down here in turns 1 and 2. He will. And again, that's good because guess what? You only got to go 4 spots now to get to the lead on a restart. Assuming he doesn't catch up to the 4th place truck, you know, before the next caution. I do like that we have completed a lot of green flag laps here. You know, that seemed to have been a problem at the past 2 races, you know, Richmond being one of them last week. Hopefully it continues like that. And also, you know, we spoke to the 11 before the race, and he said, yeah, guys, my truck just sucked all week last week. Couldn't get nothing going. I managed to get a top 5 finish, and that's my worst finish of the year is position 5. So, I mean, he's been in the top 5 all season, so he's doing something right, but he said it sucked last weekend, and keep in mind, All-Star Weekend is fast approaching, and guess where All-Star Weekend is at this season? Richmond Raceway. So you got plenty of time to fix whatever was wrong with your truck when you raced there last week for All-Star Week. And his Xfinity Series car, he said that sucked all night. He still doesn't know how he managed to pull off the win there in the Xfinity Series. 500 thousandths of a second. I imagine it doesn't get any closer than that, Kyle. Yeah. In fact, that is currently the closest finish. It beats Kyle Larson and Chris Buescher from the real-life Kansas Speedway race from earlier this season. Actually, no, it doesn't. Because I think that was like, what, 1/1000th of a second? Because it was 0.0001, so I think actually that was closer than this finish. And you know what's weird? If there's a tie, the win goes to whoever led the most laps. And with less than 50 to go, we will take you side by side one last time. You won't miss a thing. You know what? Even though we're side by side, I'm still gonna say this. But I honestly think you should do an overtime if it's a tie. I feel like that'd be a more effective way to settle it. Who gets the better jump? Who blocks the best, you know? Because, like, whoever led the most laps in the race, that does not even sound right. Okay. We're gonna ignore that just happened. I'm actually kind of glad that happened because now I get fresh tires. I think I spun out the 32. .40 laps remain from the paperclip, and you saw it during the side-by-side. The 11 got into the wall. Caution come out. He got his fresh tires, drove back through the field. Another caution actually came out because the 11 got into the 32 Augustine, turned him around. But look at that. By like half a truck length, he was in the lead when that caution came out. That looks like a photo finish, but in reality, it's a photo position. Wouldn't you say that so? Because he won the battle by half a truck length for first place there. Now, it'll be interesting to see, you know, if a late race caution comes out, if he puts tires on it. Because you see the truck, you know, sliding like that. You don't want the same thing that happened at Bristol to happen here, right? You want to actually finish as the first place truck. You know, you've dominated the whole race. You don't want to mess up again like Bristol. So I would imagine if a late race caution comes out, he's going to put tires on that truck. Maybe tires only, but you have to. especially because of those 2 cautions, there's only 6 trucks on the lead lap, which means you'd have a good chance to drive your way back to the lead. You see him get into the wall there a little bit, but I think he was on the brake, so it made the impact a little less bad. And look at Angela Rutch in the 00. 2 seasons ago, she got her first career Craftsman Truck Series win at Richmond Raceway, where we were at last week. And she's running second with a shot to make it her second career win and lock herself into the playoffs, as she did 2 seasons ago. Do you think the 00 has a chance, or do you think the 11's got this race figured out? Well, he has brought a fast truck to the racetrack, no doubt about it. He's led the most laps out of everybody. The 22 of Carson Baker led some. You know, you had Angela Rutch lead some, I believe. Austin Wainself led some. So we've had a couple different leaders, but each time the 11 has been able to drive his way back through the field. And just ended up retaking the lead. Well, the next time we come here will be all the way in 2025, because that's when the cutoff race for the round of 8 is. The Truck Series has Texas next week, and then it has an off week when the Xfinity and Cup Series heads to Talladega in 2 weeks. And then the Truck Series resumes action a week later at Dover Motor Speedway. Miles the Monster. You've had plenty of experience there at Miles the Monster. In both the Cup and Truck Series, and I think the Xfinity Series as well. Look at this, the 11 choosing the high side this time. Not going to be able to get something to work there. He's going to have to go low. He does. Oh, overdrove it a little bit. Got the 51 of Kyle Busch up the track. Crossover on Nick Sanchez, though. He will take that position away, so more than likely, if you see the truck in your rearview mirror and you're towards last place, your race is probably over, right? Unless if we get 20 different cautions. Yeah. So, fun fact, the best the 11 has been able to run down and catch is 5th place to put them a lap down. So what can he do now? We obviously had a long green flag run there before the 11 brought out the caution. He's now back as the leader. I think at this point, you know, you got to try to lap 5th place again, because if a late race caution does come out and you pit, it just makes it 10 times easier for you to get back to the lead, you know? Like, he did it on lap 1, back under green, the last time. You know, unfortunately ended up spinning out, well, not really lap 1. He ended up spinning out Gus Dean, but he did it the next. Oh, no, he did do it. That's right, because, yeah, he got it by half a truck length, the lead. So, he's done it before. I think if he laps up, to 5th place again, which he's caught 6 now, and 5th is just ahead with a 13 of solder. I think that is going to be more beneficial if he decides to pit for fresh tires again. Oh, there it is. So he gets up to 6th, and that's not bad at all. Because at least now he has a better shot. Because 5th, right? And he's on the low side, too. And that's still equally good, but you probably want to be in that top 4, honestly, to have the even better shot. 19 to go here, so we've reached, technically, well, no, we'll just do it at 15. That's fine. Because it only takes about 5 laps anyway. And look at this. We told you he's going to do it. The 11 back to the lead. Angela Rutsch thought she had it. And no cigars. But look at this. She's got a run. Is it enough, though? No. The 11's got the better run than she does. Well, we'll use this as an opportunity to say, well, first we'll do this. We have reached our Craftsman 15 to go, and how about I crank it up? $11 laps remain here in the Long John Silver's 200. And next up on the Craftsman Truck Series schedule, we hit the country of Texas Motor Speedway, the SpeedyCash.com 400 from Texas Motor Speedway next Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on FoxTube TV. Well, here in the closing laps, catching up on lap traffic again. I don't think this was a Mickey Mouse win. What do you guys say, Packer fan? Or not Packer fan, Kyle. Yeah, definitely deserving of this one, right? I mean, the Xfinity Series probably felt like a Mickey Mouse, right? Because he didn't lead the most laps. His car sucked all day, and he still got a 500,000th of a second photo finish. That's probably a Mickey Mouse win, as the fans would say today. But this Truck Series win, he had a little contact there, 7 to go. Well, I gotta say, did you enjoy this calling the shots tonight? Got to call 200 laps on a short track with the one and only Adam Salamander. I'm sure you're feeling great. And you got to enjoy yourself a Martinsville hot dog. What? I know, I'm about to go down there after the race. People gonna be singing the Big Back song, like from TikTok. Oh! And we said anything can happen, and it did. Look at Angela Rutsch. She's there with the 5 to go signal. But look at this. He gets going again. And he hangs on to the lead. That's the second time he's done that. Is this guy just him? And what had happened... Alright, so it's NASCAR overtime. 2-lap shootout, green-white checkered finish if the leader takes the white flag under green. Next flag ends the race. Caution prior, we re-rack them and restart them. And it's unlimited attempts, green flag. Angela Rutsch looking for career win number 2. Urbane hoping he can close this one out, because this one would burn if he doesn't finish. White flag, 1 lap to go, presented by Urbane Woodworking. He's had a history with this lap. Just a couple weeks ago at Bristol. Had the similar thing happen, like what happened there in the closing laps happened to him as he heads down the backstretch for the final time. And what would be his 4th win of the season if he had won at Bristol will turn into his 3rd win of the season. He still hangs on and wins at Martinsville. What a finish. How do you do that? How do you wreck and still win the restart? Is that even possible? Well, look at that. Nice job by... You gotta say nice job. And look at that. Clay Greenfield beats Angela Rutsch for 2nd place. And Angela finishes 3rd. But look at that. That's crazy. Look at all the damage to that number 11 truck. But still hung on to win the race. And it's time for the burnouts. All right. Well, that was a good race, and yikes, can't wreck that late in the race, but honestly, kudos at the same time. Held on to seal it at the end when it more than likely was going to probably not go his way. Third win this season, and what should be his 4th, as we mentioned, and we just got to do these couple quick laps here, but we have to do this qualifying to try to get the pole, so that way it's a little easier. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Now we just have to do the 4 laps. How about this, though? What a win for the 11 crew. Dominated another race. And like we mentioned, it technically should be his 4th win. But you know what? You didn't get that one. You have to move on now. You just won at Martinsville after having 2 straight crappy weeks. Maybe that's all you needed for your 3rd win of the season. And that 3rd win of the season gets you closer to the regular season title. What a run by the 11 crew tonight. They should be proud. And when they get to their burnout here, honestly, I would blow the engine on that truck. I would blow the engine, take it back to the shop, and I would replace that thing. Great job holding off Angela Rutch and Clay Greenfield. But first, before he starts his burnout, time for his signature victory lap. He's going to start down here. Normally he would turn around on the back stretch, but he turned around on the front stretch. And there he goes. And they are going to blow the engine on that thing, I have a feeling. Still burning it down. Oh, won't let me do it. How about that, race fans? So the 11 out of the truck. Let's go down to Regan Smith. Well, Urbane, you get your 3rd win of the, and you come here. You technically wreck in the closing laps, but you're still able to hang on in overtime and win. What's going through your mind right now, man? Oh, heck yeah, man! It just feels amazing, man. Right? 3 wins. Who would have thought, at the beginning of the season, it didn't really start the way we wanted it to, right? 2 fourth-place finishes in a row, and then finally we go to Vegas, get our first win. We go back-to-back at Atlanta, almost get the win at Bristol. Don't really do that good at Richmond, but then we come here and we just dominate it again like we did at Bristol. This time we finished the deal. Shout out to all you fans out there in the stands. We couldn't do this without you. Shout out to Napa, Auto Parts, Freightliner, Safelite, Hunt Brothers Pizza. You all are awesome too because you all equally make things happen for our team. Shout out to all my amigos. You know who you are. Supporting us. It's amazing, man. You don't know when or if you'll ever get another win, so you gotta cherish what you can get. We were able to get the job done here today, and we're gonna celebrate this one. All right, well, you heard from the man. There it is. Urbane, your winner here at Martinsville. Thank you, Regan. And with that, we'll leave you with one last thing before we say so long. Texas Motor Speedway next Friday night for the Craftsman Truck Series, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Fox Tube TV. And with that, we'll say so long for Kyle Voiles. I'm Adam Salamander. So long from Martinsville.